What if the reason you cannot find your purpose is not because you don't have one? What if you have been looking for it in the wrong place? You have a successful career, you earn well, you have a loving family. Everything looks perfect from outside, and yet you know something is missing. And then you start looking at the risks, the money you don't have, the family you need to take care of, the expectations that you need to meet. And then finding purpose becomes almost impossible. Perhaps it is more of what unfolds as you start to understand what you have been given, what you can choose, and what you can give back. I discovered that one of the most powerful ways to figure out your purpose in life is to go to our Indian way of thinking that is rooted in our day to day lives. And we often tend to ignore it. Hi, I'm Dr. Anindita Chakraborty, and I am a retired anesthesiologist. I spent many years studying to qualify as a doctor. I studied even more to qualify as an anesthesiologist. But what I learned from observing people in the hospital, their fears, their struggles, their ambitions, taught me much more than any qualification or degree or school that I could go to. I have observed that most people have a very clear idea about what they should do. That is not the part they struggle with. This separation of what is truly you and what you have been told is you is the supreme struggle that almost everybody I know faces. And that is what we are going to explore today. So let's begin with stage number one. Now, there are a lot of people who believe that we choose the parents we are born to, we choose the family we are born into, the financial status of the family we are born into, the social status, and the experience that we choose. There are other people who believe that these are things that are inherently given to you. Are you peaceful sitting with the contradiction that you may or may not have chosen the circumstances that you were born into? The dharma that you practice allows you to be with contradiction. It allows you to be with duality. It allows you to be peaceful in the face of uncertainty. That is the true nature of practice. That is the true nature of dharma. Now, I would like to talk about swabhava. Swabhava is what is your inherent nature. Are you a kind person? Are you a compassionate person? Do you empathize? And here is the interesting part. These are your strengths. What about your weaknesses? Do you give in to anger easily? Are you prone to jealousy? And then there are the gray areas. Maybe you're incredibly passionate, but also inconsistent. Maybe you are very creative and also easily distracted. Maybe you are ambitious, but also end up comparing yourself with everyone else all the time. The thing is that we always want to see things as good and bad. We do not build the dharma, the practice that helps us see the gray areas of our lives. Are you able to sit with the gray areas of your nature? Are you able to sit with equal comfort with the dark side of your nature? Are you able to sit with equal comfort and calmness with the contradictions, with the duality, and with the darkness within you? This is the true application of dharma to understanding your swabhava. If you would like to make a practice out of this, like I did, I sat down and I wrote down all the things that I felt were the pros, cons, and somewhere in the middle for myself, because awareness of yourself is way more important than the awareness of the world. The next thing that I would like to talk about is Prarabdha. And we spend a lot of energy on this. Why do I not have what the other person have? Why is making money so difficult for me? Why am I always unlucky in love? These questions are understandable, but do you see a pattern? Here, you tend to keep yourself in the same pattern of victimhood. Instead, start asking, what can I do with what I have been given? Perhaps you were born into a family that had a lot of financial problems. Maybe the beliefs about money that you grew up with were very limiting, but that cannot stop you from having a better financial reality for yourself. Maybe you grew up watching your parents fight and not have a great relationship. that doesn't mean that you cannot have fun. The other thing about Prarabdha is that you may find somebody stupidly lucky at something. Like, for example, somebody may be just lucky in making money or being successful at business. Like, they don't even have to think about it, they just are. And then you can start comparing yourself to them and wonder, why is it that I am not that? The thing is that you are born with inherent capacities that you will never be aware of if you keep comparing yourself to another. So here, apply your swabhava and your karma and your dharma to your prarabdha. And when you apply that to prarabdha, your prarabdha becomes the treasure that it's supposed to be. A lot of people take prarabdha karma very negatively. They feel it is destiny, it is fate, it is something that cannot be changed. Sometimes they use it as a reason that they can be envious and jealous of others. For example, if you know a friend who's just stupidly successful at business, I use the word stupid is because they don't even have to think about it. They just try something and they are successful. Now you can spend your life wondering why are they successful, why you are not. But as per Indian philosophy, if you started to apply your dharma, your karma, and your swabhava to prarabdha, then you can change the script that you were born with. The next thing that I would like to talk about is karma. Now I know I referred to karma in the earlier part of this video as something that you do, because that is the most logical, the most relevant interpretation of karma. However, how I personally interpret karma is what you flow your energy to. Think about it. This is not just relevant to you. This is how a plant grows. If you water a plant will grow. So be present to what you are giving energy to. The relationship, the friendship that you are giving energy to. Be present to the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions that you are giving energy to. All of this is part of the action, the karma that you are choosing. And here you have choice. And this choice is what creates your tomorrow more than you can think of. Allow karma to be guided by your swabhava. Allow karma to be guided by dharma. And that is where generational patterns of toxic relationship, bad financial decisions are allowed to come to an end. The last part is seva. Seva is not only taking care of the sick or the helpless. Seva is what you give. The thing is that we are all treasure troves of resources. Some of us may be very resourceful in terms of creativity. Some of us may be oceans of compassion that may be of great service to somebody who has never experienced it in their lives. So allow your seva to be fueled by your swabhava. Allow your seva to reflect in your karma. Swabhava, prarabdha, karma, and seva. And when you apply dharma to all these four aspects, then you are closer to your purpose than you have ever been. What if purpose was never meant to be a grand epiphany? What if living your daily life, your daily choices, is the unfolding of your very purpose? In today's world, most of us are afraid to talk about religion because religion has been something that has been used to propagate hate and separation. What if we stopped being afraid? What if we chose to be inspired by everything, by religion, by spirituality, by movies, by art, by everything around us, by the environment and the culture that we live in? What if our voice is the true purpose we have all along been looking for? Thank you for watching.